Glenn Todd Waldrop is with us. Welcome to the show, Glenn.
Good to see you guys.
It's good to see you. I don't get to see nearly as much of you as I used to, so this is fun.
Well, you were talking about almost a decade that you've been. It's been over 20 years since Scott and I were working together, and coming back into the studio, and always sitting in that corner doing all the shows that now Kathy's hosting. But to come back in and see what y'all have done and all the stuff going live, and it's a walk down memory lane today to come back in and see everybody.
Yeah, when he first walked in, I saw a little mist.
A little tear.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because David's wearing bad cologne back there in the office. That's all that is.
I think he really misses it here.
I do miss it. I miss all the folks here at FPB, and I was here a long time and enjoyed every bit of it, and still doing the games, up and through football season this last year. So, I see you all some, but I don't get to see a lot of the folks around the office and here in the studio. So it's good to be back. Y'all are doing great stuff.
It's good to have you.
Thanks.
So tell us a little bit about your new gig. We obviously have you in here. We love having you in here just to visit, but we've got you in here for a purpose today.
Really? I just thought I was coming by.
Right.
Yeah.
As executive director, right, of Downtown Frankfort, Inc.
And Bourbon on the Banks Festival.
That's right.
So I retired at the end of November, and my wife's got a job traveling. Our son Z's a senior and getting ready to play ball, and we're trying to figure all this stuff out. So I retired and was going to just kind of be a stay-at-home dad until he went to college, and this opportunity came up. And as you all know, working in the community is what we all love, working with your all's customers, and it was one of the great things about this position. And I really missed that community engagement, and they offered me the opportunity with Downtown Frankfort and Bourbon on the Banks. And what I did not realize is just how much I came out of retirement for one job. It's really two jobs. I'm wearing two hats, and I probably need to have something examined after doing that. But I'm excited. It really is an outstanding time here in this community. And we're on the cusp of doing great things here, and to be a part of that was something I thought I'd enjoy. So came out of a month-long retirement, and now working with Downtown Frankfort Inc. and the Bourbon on the Banks Festival.
Yeah, a new challenge is always kind of get your energy going, and so I'm sure you've enjoyed digging into that.
It's I'm pushing 50 now, so I've got to really recharge every night to get going because it is a lot of energy, but it's very exciting. When you look at what's happening downtown with the redevelopment and parcels B and C, and it's a new energy downtown, and that has a great energy for the entire community. I mean, when you start looking at reshaping the downtown once the tower came down, and everything's starting to move, and you can feel people getting very excited.
Yeah. So speaking of that, DFI plays a big role in most of the big events that happen downtown. So we're going to get to all those, but talking about all the development and the movement that's happening downtown, I want to know personally about the downtown master plan because I think everybody's really interested in it. At least I am. I assume everybody else is too, and excited about it. But I think it's also a little bit of a mystery.
It is.
As to who's responsible for what and what's underway and what's already happened and what. So what's happened so far? What's next? And I guess just fill us in on how much of the plan is actionable. Who's are the projects that have? I'm giving you way too many questions. Go ahead. I'll save some.
So I'm trying to keep up with them on my head.
No,
but really, the master plan is a partnership. It truly is. I mean, you're looking at what we're doing with DFI. We're sort of one of the cogs that is trying to bring in all the ideas and talk about what can be accomplished and take it in pieces. Obviously, I'm a one-staff operation. I have a part-time person that works with me, and that's it. So there's only so much one person can truly do. But it's up to us to try to bring in a lot of these ideas, sort of vet them some with the city, and find out what is accomplished, what we can accomplish, and move forward with it. So we're going to set some benchmarks. That's sort of what our role is, to set those benchmarks of what we can get done, work with the city, work with partners to get these accomplished. There's some really good things on the horizon with Bourbon tourism that we're going to work with in that. There's a lot of talk. There was a feasibility study was approved by the city commission in that marathon meeting y'all were talking about the other night. There's a feasibility study that was approved that is looking at floating docks that will go down around Blanton's Landing, go all the way over by Ann Street, and hopefully connect a river walk from that area all the way over over to the boat dock there behind the old library. So when you start looking at something like that, that can transform the whole downtown. And when you look at riverfront development, it sort of can be in two phases. It can happen from there at the Capitol Avenue Bridge all the way over to where the boat dock is. And of course, then you've got over by the hotel, that riverfront will maybe be developed down the road. So, and you talked about some other parts of the master plan, parcels B and C. You know, there's been some release of that information. There'll be more to come in the next few days. But, you know, there's a lot of talk of what's going to change with the hotel, what's going to happen down in parcels B and C, the new YMCA. So this is an incredibly exciting time right now in this whole community. Now, obviously, this is all downtown, and I work for Downtown Frankfort, Inc., but that has an impact on the entire community. You know, with the initiative that Georgetown College made available a while back that, you know, for the next 10 years, Franklin County students can go to Georgetown tuition free. That's huge. That's going to mean a lot of people want to come into this community. So that has impact on housing. That has impact on jobs. So I feel like Frankfort is right there right now to really just to skyrocket.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And it's just an exciting time. In the 20 years that I've been here, I think it's the most exciting period for the town and just what's possible. So real quick, my last question.
Okay.
I'm guessing, like, so we know B and C and some of those projects like that are privately funded, basically. You know, they're private ventures. I'm guessing there are pieces. There's so many parts to the downtown master plan. I'm guessing some things are funded and some things aren't. And then does that, or will you all come in to kind of organize that and try to find?
Well, when you talk about funding, you know, obviously it's going to take a lot of private partnerships. These two areas that are being developed down there, it's not like everything that we've seen in the past has been state government related.
Right.
This will not be state government related, which means, you know, you're talking about getting stuff back on the tax rolls. It's going to help the school districts. Our role is to really partner with the city to make sure that things are getting accomplished. You know, and what we want to try to do is to set our goals to where we all want the pie in the sky. Everything is great, you know, huge centers and all this kind of stuff. Let's find some things we can accomplish early on. Let's get moving, because, you know, it's going to take one domino to fall before the whole list goes. But I feel like that the city is a catalyst along with downtown Frankfort, and then, of course, the private partners that we're using as well. But it is, when I say a true partnership, that's what it's got to be. I mean, you've got to have the private, folks in there with the funding, but the city is right involved with everything. Keith Parker, the city manager, and I talk all the time, and it's just exciting and very, very busy, and that's not even counting Bourbon on the Banks. So we've got a lot going on.
Well, that's a good segue. Bourbon on the Banks is kind of one of your big projects. Tell us about that event. And
well, it started last year,
yeah.
And it sort of started up with Kentucky State. Wendy Colbert got it going. It was going to be more of a bourbon gowns kind of event down around the river, and it morphed into what it became Bourbon on the Banks. And this year, they decided, the Bourbon on the Banks board brought the two positions together. So I'm also considered the executive director of Bourbon on the Banks Festival, and it'll be the second year. It's going to be August 28th and 29th. And we had a planning meeting last night. It's sort of in its infancy stages, and we're going out and talking to sponsors right now. But we feel like it can be one of the bigger regional events for bourbon connoisseurs in the country. I mean,
it was pretty successful last year, right?
It was very successful for a first year,
Yeah.
and we have a lot of work to do to grow it this year. But it's going to be shortened. It was 3 nights last year. It's going to be shortened down to 2 this year.
Yeah.
So,
Organizing it around my birthday was a
and
good idea.
and we were
too.
talking about it out in the hall.
Smart.
It really, I blew this. It was going to be Scott's surprise birthday party on the 29th, but instead now we're just, we've let the
Smart.
cat out of the bag. But we know where you're going to be on your birthday now, right?
That's right. Yep.
I know you might not be a
sheets
big
to the
bourbon
wind.
guy, but well, I'll teach you.
Okay.
I'll teach you a little bourbon.
It's an acquired taste.
But no, the Bourbon on the Banks Festival is going to be great. I mean, it's music, it's bourbon, it's other spirits.
Yeah.
They have the free event downtown.
That's right.
That KSU's band participated in last year, and there was a circus and just
Yeah, that was
performers.
fun. Yeah,
And
that was a lot of fun.
So that'll all be taking place, we hope, again this year. As I said, we're just now in the planning stages of that. I just came on board January 6th, so we're kind of trying to pick up the pace on things, but we expect that to be another outstanding event, and more to come on that down the road. I'll hopefully be in here more often to talk about that,
sure.
because there's a
Yeah,
lot
we'd
to
love
do.
to have you.
And then, of course, we've got the summer concert starting up.
That's right. Yeah, that's a
Yep.
perfect segue
Yeah,
into that.
that's right. I'm asleep over here. You hypnotized me.
That's what I do.
so,
I'll
yeah.
come over here and just put them.
So Summer Concert Series has been going on for a long time
Long
now.
time. And West Banco is the corporate sponsor for that. And I should mention Community Trust Bank is the corporate sponsor again for Bourbon on the Banks. But when you talk about West Banco and their partnership, that event has grown into what is, I think everyone considers it as the crown jewel of what goes on in this
No doubt
community.
about it.
The summer concert is so popular. We're in the process of picking bands right now. We'll finish that process at the end of the month. June 5th is the first summer concert, so put that on your calendars. And we're excited. We hope for good weather. There's 6 dates. We'll have great music, and we're talking how we're going to do the foods. We're trying to improve the whole food experience for everyone, not just there with that event, but also with Bourbon on the Banks. We've all foodies have become the thing over the years, and so when you have an event that like the summer concert, you've got to bring people what they want, and what they have said is that they want a variety of food, and we're looking into how to best do that, and obviously have a lot of fun this summer.
Some possibly new wrinkles there. Then.
Yeah. Well, let me. How do you choose the bands? I'm just
It is a
honestly
secret,
curious.
Zach.
It's a secret.
No. There's a committee, and actually Jack Kennedy, who is a performer locally in some bands and works down at the clerk's office, he heads that committee. So basically, bands that want to participate in the summer concert go on our website, and there's a thing they fill out and send us in, and they send in clips, and then the committee goes through and looks at all the different prices and what their asks are when they come in, and we listen to their stuff, and then the committee picks their top 3, and everybody talks, and then we have bands.
Yeah.
So are you going to put a band together? Or you
Well, I
all
was
gonna get a
thinking
garage
about
band
doing
together?
like a we might do a Simon and Garfunkel kind of thing.
Well, I know you're a drummer.
Yeah, I'm a drummer,
So
I used to play bass.
so just drum and bass.
I used to play bass.
I know you played in a band in high school too, so you could break out
trumpet.
the trumpet
And the tuba, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so break out the tuba
Oh,
and the
there we go.
drums.
Yeah.
We could be on to
Lone
something.
Pub.
I mean, I think we're onto something here.
It might be something.
I don't know if there's
change
ever
music.
been a duet that plays tuba and the drums.
Yeah.
So you all have a niche that no
Exactly.
one has ever had before.
Do you want to be a third? Do you want a third job? Be our manager or no?
Okay. Well, why not? I mean, it just
It doesn't pay at all, so.
It's going to sell itself. I mean, it's going to sell itself.
Yeah.
I mean, you just say tuba, drums.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can be the manager that sells us out like like Act 2 of the movie.
Right.
Like you're the guy.
I'm not, that sells you out. And, all of a sudden, you're not down to your true roots of the
Yeah,
music.
that's right.
It's now, being synthesizers. and all
So
that stuff.
our question of the day for our Facebook viewers out there was: do you have a favorite Super Bowl, and do you have a favorite Super Bowl snack? So let's hit it.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
I heard Zach say wings, and wings are the thing at our house.
Yeah.
So it's a staple for. I mean, it's a couple of days a week. So wings are my favorite Super Bowl snack. But I like all snacks. Look at me. I mean, I don't turn food down or drink. So, but my favorite Super Bowl, I actually have a few memories that are interesting. I grew up a Bengals fan. We've been to 2 Super Bowls. We lost gut-wrenching style both times to the 49ers.
Yeah, that was the one. My first one that I remember watching was
Boomer
that-
Esiason and Sam Weiss.
yep.
And that was terrible. So those
And
two
it
are
was
the
close.
both games were
Yeah.
both
Closest one that the
Bengals-
49ers played, right? They kind of smoked everybody else.
Yeah, it was, and in the first time the Bengals played them back, I think it was in '81.
Yeah.
The Bengals got beat 21-20 and got stopped 4 straight plays on the 1-yard line. Yeah. So I mean, as a Bengals fan, it was just heart wrenching. So those are the 2 memories of football. But I think the 2 memories that jump out the most to me, other than the certain plays, the Tyree catch on his helmet and all that sort of thing, that are great, the interception at the goal line, but Whitney doing the national anthem and Prince's halftime show.
Yes.
Both of those things are just, they're unbelievable. So, I mean, I'm almost 50. I've seen almost all the Super Bowls. I'm a sports junkie, so I have so many memories. But the Bengals gut-wrenching losses.
Yeah.
But Whitney's anthem and Prince the halftime show.
Yeah. Well,
And Janet Jackson. Who's going to forget that, right?
That one, yeah. As a fellow Bengals fan, I'm just hoping that we can maybe win a playoff game. Since I've been, I was 3 years old when that Super Bowl happened, and since I've been a cognizant fan, I've never seen them win a playoff game. So.
Right. Well, I understand
fun
your pain,
one
but
day.
let's pump the brakes. Let's win a game first. Let's just win a game next year.
Yeah,
What we
absolutely.
win 1 or 2 this year. So,
Yeah.
Let's win a game. One game, feel good about ourselves,
right.
and move forward. But yeah, I would love to see the Bengals back in the playoffs. The energy in playoff football is unbelievable.
But yeah, I know you mentioned the Prince halftime show. We were talking about that just before we went on air, and that's probably my all-time favorite halftime show and one of my favorite Super Bowl memories.
It's
ever.
incredible.
It's
it was
so
it was
good.
incredible, and I'm looking forward to this year.
Yeah,
the Super
same.
Bowl's always fun, and I expect it to be a good game. The Niners defense is great. Kansas City offense is unbelievable. So, will Andy Reid get his Super Bowl
matchup.
finally, or will the Niners get another title? It's going to be interesting to see.
My favorite thing about Super Bowl week used to be when ESPN would do all the NFL films, highlight films about the Super Bowls, and just start with one and go all the way through them. Man, I loved that.
Yeah, and Steve Sable. I mean, just that whole thing with NFL films is incredible. And you go back and look at Super Bowl I with the Packers, and I forget the guy's name who won MVP, but they said he didn't expect to play, so he was out drinking the whole night, and then he ended up having to play, and he won MVP of the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So you don't get those stories all the time.
And then went out drinking some more.
Yeah,
after,
I would imagine so.
The Broncos didn't know they had entered the land of the giants.
Stuff like frozen tundra and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's awesome.
Glenn, thanks for coming in, man.
Man, good seeing y'all. Thanks for having me, and hopefully I'll be back again to talk about some of our events as we get closer.
Yeah, absolutely.